Good. And we are live. Thank goodness we're live now and not just 5 seconds ago. Hey, welcome to the channel. Welcome back. Look who I have with me. I told you that there were some changes coming, and today's that day. Miss Jessica Miller. Welcome,
Hey,
Jessica,
everyone.
to the live stream. Hey, if you are tuning in live, we appreciate you guys joining in. Do me a favor, drop a comment down below. Let us know where you guys are watching from. If you don't have a chance to watch this live, that's okay. Drop your comments, drop your questions down below, and we will get to them on another live stream, or possibly we'll do a video about your questions. But definitely drop a comment down below. Let us know where you guys are watching from. Always intrigued. So like I said, we said we're going to do something new, 12 o'clock noon, week 2 in a row. But now I have a special guest, which is great because I find it really challenging to talk for 45 minutes to an hour straight. Just so you know, we'll do these live streams for a half hour. We'll do them for an hour and a half. All depends on your interaction. So we appreciate that one. So today we have a fun little topic, and it came about because we know that there's a lot of people moving to Lakewood Ranch. And there's some things that we think that you should consider before moving here. We know a lot of people move from either the Northeast or the Midwest. A lot of people start off as snowbirds, meaning they come down in December, January, February, March, April, and then move down here realizing that they didn't really have the full grasp of what they were getting themselves into when they made the move to Lakewood Ranch. So we got an entire list. We're going to kind of zip through some of them, and some of them we're going to delve in and talk a little bit more. But without further ado, what's the first thing on the list that people should take into consideration before moving here?
So the first thing they should consider is some hidden costs before buying, and those could include CDD fees and HOA fees.
What's CDD?
CDD is the Community Development District fee. And the HOA fee is the Homeowners Association fee.
Gotcha. What's the big difference?
So, of course, HOA fees, a lot of you have heard of that. It's the Homeowners Association fee. They take care of the amenities in the community, such as the clubhouse, the resort style pool, anything within the clubhouse, restaurants. They do take care of those private roads within those gated communities. Now, not all communities are gated that have HOA fees. So they really want to maintain the looks of the grounds as well, and each individual property, keep them looking beautiful. What do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of people obviously know what homeowners association fees are, and you love them and you hate them. I've done a lot of videos on that one. And a lot of people have no idea what CDD fee is. We had no idea what CDD fee was until we moved to Lakewood Ranch. Actually, drop a comment down below. Have you heard of a CDD fee where you live? I don't know anywhere else that has it. I know it's not just Lakewood Ranch, but I think it's kind of interesting. And a lot of that fund helps the builders put in all that infrastructure prior to the community actually getting built. Right? You never really think about that one. Like, who pays for the roadways and the sewer systems and the electric lines? The builders tend to take on that cost, and that could obviously be very expensive. So these CDD fees kind of help with some of those costs.
Right. And they also, we do have the county parks and trails as well, but there are some parks and trails within communities. So it's there to maintain all of those, also the streets within the community as well, kind of like, the smaller picture within the big picture of what the county takes care of. So those are also included in your annual property taxes. So if you are purchasing a home here in Lakewood Ranch, you'll definitely want to ask what that CDD is. And we can actually separate that out by looking at the tax bill to see how much is the actual property tax versus how much is that CDD fee, right?
Yeah. And then the cool thing about CDD fees, I think generally speaking, I think in Lakewood Ranch, those are 30 years. So for example, Lakewood Ranch is now 30 years old. The first neighborhood was Summerfield. So theoretically, some of those homes that were purchased back in 1995 are wrapping up their final year of CDD fees, if that makes sense. So if you buy a brand new construction home, that means that CDD fee stays with the house, meaning that, so if you buy a brand new construction, that means that CDD fee is going to be paid for 30 years, whether you live in the house for a year or for 30 years. So if I buy your house a year from now, I'm going to be responsible for paying those next 29 years of CDD fees, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And if you break it down monthly, they're pretty nominal. However, it kind of depends on the home, the community. And if you're on the Sarasota County side of Lakewood Ranch or the Manatee County side, you'll be looking at about $1,000 up to $3,900 price range, just depending. You're going to buy a bigger home. There's going to be, and the value of it as well is going to affect that CDD fee. So.
Yep. And the reason that's top on the list is because a lot of people just say, great, I'm going to buy $1 million house, 7% interest rate, and here's what my mortgage is going to be. But it's more than that. It's going to be.
Yeah, my phone's going off.
Going to be
Sorry.
Your taxes, your insurance, your utilities. But CDD fee is definitely something you want to take into consideration, specifically in Lakewood Ranch. Okay, moving on. The next thing. Now, you've heard before that Florida has no state income tax. That is true, but there's also some other great savings that you should know about if you're moving here.
So one of those is the Florida homestead exemption tax. And what is that? If you are a primary residence, if you purchase a home and it is your primary residence, you can file for the homestead exemption. And speaking of that, it is due to apply for if you haven't already, if you purchased a house last year or if you just forgot. You need to apply for that homestead exemption by March 31st. That deadline is coming up very, very quickly. So it could be a $50,000 decrease on the tax assessment towards your property. So that's a savings, and you like to save money like I do, of course.
Let's save money.
So don't forget to file for that homestead exemption. And then there is another portion to that as well. So if you sell your home in Florida and you move to another home, you can, if you qualify, port that exemption to your other home. And that is the, what is that one called? The Save Our Homes exemption as well. However, it is not transferable to the new purchaser, the new owner. So they are going to have to file for that homestead exemption too. Of course, there are other exemptions depending if you're a veteran, disability, those kind of things too. And you definitely want to call the county to see if you are eligible for those other exemptions.
Perfect. All right, moving on. Number 3. This is a biggie here on Lakewood Ranch because we have a ton of new construction. I want to say at the time of this recording, there are probably like 12 neighborhoods currently under construction.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the questions that you want to ask yourself is, do you want to buy new construction or do you want to buy a resale home? So obviously the biggest difference that we always ask our buyer clients is what's your timeline? Because if you are going to buy a new construction home, everyone's on a different timeline, but generally speaking, you're 12 to 18 months out.
That's if everything goes perfectly smoothly. Now, some people don't mind the wait if they're, maybe they're selling somewhere else, they're moving to the area, their kids are in school, they want to finish out the school year. So it might make sense for them versus resale, but there are options too with move-in ready homes. So the new builder is almost built out. So they've got model homes that they want to move quickly. So they're offering a great incentive on those. And then they have some other homes that just have been, built already that they need to move. So they have those move-in ready properties as well.
Yep. And then so besides the time frame, which is obviously the biggest one, because if you have to move, you don't have time to wait 12 to 18 months. But if you're somebody who wants to be able to pick out all your own finishes, right? What kind of flooring do you have? What kind of cabinetry do you have? What do the handles look like on your doors or on your kitchen cabinets? Or if you want to pick out the color of your paint, you might want to consider buying new construction. Now, if you're okay buying a resale home, you've got lots and lots of options. I think right about this time, it's probably evenly split. There's probably just as many new construction homes available as there are resale homes available.
I think so too. And sometimes people want something that's already completed, with the pool, with the cage, everything like that. And they don't want to really pick out everything. They want just a property that's already existing. They don't want to figure out all of that work. And, it could be a cost saver sometimes because you don't have to pay the lot fee. You don't have to pay extra for the pool or the pool cage and all the upgrades. Someone else has already done that for you. So,
yep.
I mean,
absolutely. I don't think I could buy brand new construction. I'm a Libra, so I can make a decision if my life depended on it. So
That's fine.
having to go to a sales center and have to pick out, like 15 different types of tiles, and like you've been talking about like the doorknobs on your kitchen cabinets, like picking out 15 different kinds and color paints. And I think I would need 12 to 18 months just to make those type of decision. Hey, really quick before we move on, if you have not checked out our channel before, hello and welcome. If you're a returning viewer, hello, welcome back. My name is Adam Miller with the 941 Lifestyle Group, real estate agent, lifestyle matchmaker, married to this beautiful woman, my wife Jessica, who's joining us on the live stream. You-hoo!
Yes, and I might want new construction.
Yeah,
well,
right.
But I also like resale because I'm impatient.
Yeah.
So I want what I want it now.
Yeah. Jessica's been also joining us on our second channel, which is the 941 Home Tour. So this channel is 941 Lifestyle Group, kind of all about lifestyle in Lakewood Ranch. The second channel, if you're somebody who likes HGTV or Bravo $1 Million Listing, it's not like that, but it's kind of sort of like that. It's just home tours. So some of them are model homes. Some of them are our listings. Some of them are other real estate listings because they've allowed us the opportunity to market that home. But Jessica is doing home tour videos on that channel as well, which is so much fun because we get to go to all these new construction neighborhoods that we were just talking about and shoot videos at some of the model homes. And it's so fun because new is new, right? You can see brand new. And most of these models, right, they're all decked out, right? So let's talk about that really quick too. I know that's not really on our list, but you go to these model homes and they are all decked out. So we always get people going, hey, how much is that house? So here's the difference why we don't really advertise the price for those houses. Because first of all, those houses are usually on premium lots. They have lots of updates. And it's more like it's an example. This is an example of what you can buy. On occasion, you could be able to buy that house. But for the most part, you're buying the basic model of that house and then any upgrades, which could be anything. Could be the pool, could be the pool cage,
crown
molding, different light fixtures,
ceiling
fans. Yeah. And then there's the lot price in Lakewood Ranch. Unlike a lot of other places, you are buying the base model of a house plus the lot, and then plus any upgrades, and then a pool and a pool cage and a hot tub and any of those other miscellaneous things. So that is another cost that a lot of people don't take into consideration.
Right.
And I'm surprised how many people ask on the home tour videos, say, how much is that house? Well, that house is, $1.5 million. However, you can buy it for probably $600,000, right? Plus the lot, plus the pool, plus the cage, so on and so forth. Does that make sense?
Yeah. There's a couple communities though that what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
This is the design, this is the lot, and they have that one set price. So definitely want to ask that question.
That's Lennar, and I personally love Lennar. Like what you see is what you get. They give you those high end finishes already. Anyway, we digress. All right, let's move on to number 4 on our list, and that is flood zones and insurance. Now I'm sure you have heard that we've had a couple of hurricanes, 3 back to back to back. So insurance and insurance costs is definitely something that is on everybody's radar.
Yes. So when you are looking at properties that your real estate agent send you, or we send you, if you don't see the flood zone classification, you definitely want to ask your agent or go to the FEMA website, put the address in and see what flood zone that is. And especially in the past couple of years, there have been some reclassification of flood zones that were not considered flood zone and are now at higher risk. Because things change, the weather is changing, and you definitely want to ask if you are in a flood zone, because that may affect, it will affect your homeowner's insurance. It will be higher. And also if you're financing, if the property is in a flood zone, you have to get that flood insurance. So you want a trusted insurance agent to go over all of that with you and to confirm what zone you're actually in.
Yeah, very, very important, causing a massive issue here in the state of Florida, because Florida used to be cheap. Now housing, it's obviously a little more expensive.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
But now you have the insurance costs, which is very costly here in Florida.
Yeah, and another note, if you ask us, should I get flood insurance? I'm not going to tell you yes or no. I don't want to be liable for that. Even in areas that aren't zoned flood zone. Now, when we get heavy rains or, during a hurricane and you're by a major river or lake, there could be a possibility that the roads get some water. And your interior might get affected as well. So you really want to think about that hard and check with your insurance agent too.
Nice. All right. Next, moving on our list. I love this one, and here's why I love it. So you've probably heard me say it a billion times on the channel that we're real estate agents and lifestyle matchmakers, and a lot of people are like, "What the heck is a lifestyle matchmaker?" The reason that we brought that up is because number 5 on our list is lifestyle fit over square footage. What does that mean? That means that you can buy a house in just about every neighborhood at every price point. But we know at the end of the day, yes, the house is important to you. But we also know that the lifestyle and the amenities that the community offers is just as important as, and maybe even more important. For example, if you said, "Hey, Adam, we've been pre-approved for a loan for $700,000. We can probably find you a home at that price point in, if I had to guess, maybe 30 of the 40 plus neighborhoods in Lakewood Ranch." That would be overwhelming. We can show you 50, 60, 70, 100 homes. However, what we do is we ask those specific questions about what's important to you in your lifestyle. Do you golf? Do you golf often enough that you want to be in a golf course community? Do you play pickleball? Do you want to learn how to play pickleball? Or do you not care about amenities at all whatsoever? We live in Greenbrook, which is one of the older neighborhoods in Lakewood Ranch. Our HOA fees are $100 a month. That's cheap. Our amenities, we have a couple of parks, beautiful parks. The neighborhood is gorgeous. The trees are all grown and matured. That's perfectly fine for us. You can move into a community like Del Webb, where your HOA fees are, $300-$400 a month, right? $1,200 a quarter, and gets just amenities galore, right? Lifestyle director, resort style swimming pool, pickleball, bocce, tennis, karaoke nights, wine night,
restaurant on the water.
Put
a grocery store in there, and you never have to leave home.
It all depends. So yes, we know obviously as real estate agents that the house is important, but we also prioritize finding the house that you're going to love in a neighborhood that you're going to love, and that includes all the amenities and lifestyles that come along with that one.
Yeah, I have a lot of buyers that are like, "I just want pool, community pool, be fine." That's great. Then there's some buyers that are like, "I want everything," and then some people are like, "I'll just play golf at a private golf, club or something like that too." So it really, really depends on what lifestyle you're looking for in your community.
Right. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about some of your costs. Like if you don't think that you're going to use a community pool and you don't think you're going to play pickleball, you might want to consider not moving into a neighborhood that's going to charge you $1,200, $1,500 every quarter, because you're really paying for those amenities. And if you're not going to use those amenities, you move into a neighborhood like Greenbrook or Summerfield that don't really have any of those amenities and have low HOA fees.
Right. And some of the communities have an extra fee for their restaurant where you have to have, so Del Webb has a $500 minimum annual contribution. But these people love going to that restaurant because they're hanging out with their friends. It's on the water, go for lunch, have a meeting there with your friends that live in the community. So it's really nominal, and the food is really good too. We've eaten there too before with our friends.
Very good. All right, very quickly, one of the things we added to the list, not a huge topic of conversation, but something to consider is resale or investment potential. So obviously not every single neighborhood appreciates at the same rate, some more, some less. I mean, in my opinion, every neighborhood in Lakewood Ranch has probably got great resale value, but again, some more, some less than some others. Some of them have higher demands depending on like their location, the amenities that they offer. If there's rental restrictions, if you are a snowbird, right, you're coming down December through April, but you want to rent it the rest of the time of year, you want to make sure that you're going to be in a community that allows that. We'll talk a little bit more about that one, but that's something you want to consider.
And what is next?
Golf cart accessibility. This is something that I think there's a lot of confusion, because I'm sure if you are doing some research on maybe where to retire, where to relocate, you probably, and you're looking in this neck of the woods, you probably see the Villages, right? And you probably see Lakewood Ranch. They're not really the same at all whatsoever. I mean, you watch a video of the Villages and everybody's driving around in golf carts. And one of the things I am perplexed about, drop a comment down below if you know the answer to this one, is that Lakewood Ranch, unfortunately, as much as we love it, is not very golf cart friendly. Now, neighborhoods, yes, you can have your golf cart in your neighborhood, not all of them, but a lot of them. But like traveling from your neighborhood to the local supermarket, or to Main Street Lakewood Ranch is not really a thing. There's not really parking spaces in these locations. And don't hold me to the exact rules, but I think you can't ride on, you definitely can't ride on the sidewalks, that's for sure. Can you get away with it? You probably can get away with it. Are you legally allowed? I don't think you're legally allowed. And you can't take it on roads, I think, more than 35-mile-an-hour speed limits.
That is true. It's all of Florida. It's 35 miles per hour or less. You are allowed to cross an intersection. Just cross it to get to the other 35-mile-per-hour zone. And there's other rules too with age limits, permits, driver's license, and parking your golf cart at your home needs to be inside the garage
Inside
too.
the garage.
You
Yep.
can't be out on the driveway or on the street. So,
But for such a planned unit development as Lakewood Ranch is, I am surprised that it is not very golf cart friendly. Now we've seen people driving them on the road, in the bike lane, on the sidewalk. Like I said, can you get away with it? You can get away with it. But if you are visualizing, just like retired life, driving around your golf cart everywhere, yes, in your community, yes, but out and about in Lakewood Ranch, maybe not so much. And Lakewood Ranch is obviously massive, right? 31,000 acres. You probably want to take your car if you're traveling around, but yeah, you're not. Like my parents live in Margaritaville, and I know that they can take their golf cart from their garage to the Publix and go food shopping, and then load back up their stuff and go back home, because there's actually a golf cart lane. So drop a comment down below if you know why Lakewood Ranch does not offer that.
it'd be fun to ride around a golf cart.
It would be fun. I'd love to have one. I don't know if I would have one just for like the neighborhood. I don't know if I want to drop 10 grand on a awesome golf cart just to kind of drive around the streets here to not go to a destination. I don't know. Maybe I'll revisit the one. That purple one I found. I really want that one.
I think that's purple.
Yep. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about, here's something you definitely want to take into consideration, especially if you are not necessarily moving to Florida to buy your primary residence. Like you're not moving here to be a resident of Florida. Maybe you're a snowbird. Maybe it's just a vacation home, but we're talking about rental and lease restrictions.
Very, very important topic because all the cities here and counties are a little bit different. Sarasota County is very different. Depends on, Florida, then the county, then the city. And so Sarasota also is very different depending on the outer islands. Manatee County, there are restrictions, but then you get down to the HOAs. If there's an HOA rule in place, you need to follow the HOA rules. So for example, Del Webb and Lakewood Ranch, they have a 3-month minimum that you can rent out and only a specific times per year. So you can't rent it, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. Lakewood National is different though. They have a 30-day consecutive day rental restriction as well. So that's the only one that's short-ish term is what they call it. It's not like short term like Airbnb rentals where it's 2 or 3 days. But yeah, you definitely want to find out through the HOA, any of the HOA documents that's listed in the multiple listing service. We provide all of that to our buyers and we actually put it in for our sellers as well. Like we gather all the information. But you definitely want to find that out because I've had buyers think that the HOA doesn't make the rules if the county makes the rules, and well,
Doesn't work that way.
they're about to find out.
Yeah, does not work that way. Yeah, so just so you know, Lakewood Ranch is not an Airbnb vacation rental by owner type of place. There's no place that I know in any of the zip codes within Lakewood Ranch that you can rent out a place for 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights. I think they're all at least 30 days, right?
The only one, Lakewood National is the only one that does 30 days.
It's 30 days.
And with 30 days or 3 months, they're actually a good option if you are moving to the area and you want to check out the area. That's a great income to the owner too. You're not going to live there permanently. Rent it for 3 months. It could be furnished, so you have your things in storage in New Jersey or New York or wherever you're moving from, and eventually, or if you're building a house and you've got that little time pocket there where you need a place to live down here, it's a great option too. So definitely want to check into that though.
Nice.
For sure.
All right, number 9 on our list of things that you should know before moving to Lakewood Ranch. This was kind of surprising. I did a full video just on this topic. And I went to, I think it's walkable.com and found out that Lakewood Ranch scored a 0 on walkability, which means that I think according to them, that means that I can't remember if it was 90% or 100% of kind of your activities require you getting into a car and driving to. So
Yes.
Obviously there's some neighborhoods that are closer to Waterside Place in Lakewood Ranch. There's neighborhoods that are closer to Main Street in Lakewood Ranch. There's certainly some, I mean, there seems to be a public supermarket on every corner, but for the mass amount of things that you are going to need to do, you're going to have to hop in a car, not a golf cart, and drive to it, which is really, really surprising and quite honestly disappointing, because Lakewood Ranch is the #1 planned community or multi-generational community for like 7 years in a row. And it is technically, I guess legally, a planned unit development. So I hear the word planned and I go, well, how is it not walkable? There's sidewalks, there's 150 miles. Yeah, there's 150 miles of trails in Lakewood Ranch. So you can definitely walk everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just, you're not, if you thought you're going to come to Florida and Lakewood Ranch and like grab your little canvas bag and walk over to the Publix and walk back home, is it possible? Certainly possible.
You'll get all your 10,000 steps in just by doing that. And you're going to sweat to death because it's hot in Florida in the summer. But yeah, so walkability, if you live right around Main Street and those condos, there's mostly apartments.
Yep.
Then you've got Edgewater over there and most of them, the condos there, but still, you're not walking all day long to get somewhere that you need to be. So.
Yeah. I know up next on our home tour videos, we're going to Waterside Place and are going to do a video at Emerald Landing, which is, if you're in Waterside Place, that's kind of where the hub of activities are in Sarasota County, Lakewood Ranch. I'm pretty positive that Emerald Landing might be the only walkable single family home neighborhood to some kind of downtown shopping. I can't really think of any to walk to Main Street. Those are all either apartments or condos. And then in Waterside, surrounded by apartments. And I think Emerald Landing has single family homes. They have townhomes as well too. But I think that is the only one that is
walk from and to, because they have the water taxi.
They have a water taxi too.
Yeah.
So you could take the water taxi.
But that's not walking.
Yeah, that's not walking.
It's taking a boat.
So anyway, drop a comment down below. And if you are with SMR or with Lakewood Ranch and you're watching, like, why isn't it not more walkable?
Yeah, why?
Why? Anyway, let's move on. So we're going to talk about something else that you need to know before moving here, and that is the future development and the growth in Lakewood Ranch. So I sat in on a meeting with the folks from SMR about Lakewood Ranch and where they're at. And I think they said they were like 60% done with the building, which means there's still 40+% to be built, which is incredible. Because I think at the time of this recording, there's like 45 different neighborhoods, 40 plus neighborhoods. And then the new map just came out. By the way, if you want a copy of the new map, drop a comment down below and we'll make sure we can get a copy to you. But the new map just came out. They update that every now and again with the new communities that are coming. So like I said, I think there's probably maybe 10 or 12 neighborhoods that are currently under construction. Now, we bounced around to a couple places yesterday to do some new construction videos. And we noticed that a couple of them were just about wrapping up.
The models aren't there anymore.
But the models were not there anymore.
They're still there.
They're still there, but now they convert them back to a home that is selling to the public. It's probably sold already.
Yeah, that one in West Bay is like sold.
Yeah, sold.
One of our favorite ones. Really nice.
So yeah, so there's still a bunch of options when it comes to new construction. But on that new map, there are 5 new neighborhoods. And of course, I cannot remember one of them because one of them popped up out of nowhere that I'd never even heard of or never even heard it was coming soon. But we have Del Webb, Catalina, which is the second community by Pulte Homes, currently under construction. We've done a couple of videos there now too, but that's the second Del Webb in Lakewood Ranch that is under construction. You can access the model homes now. There is Calusa, which is a brand new golf community, which is really surprising because not too many people around the country are building new golf communities. And I heard the golf course is done. We've not been to the sales center yet, which is not on premise.
No.
Actually over near the like near the
Palm
Wawa
Brush.
Ranch.
Yeah, near Palm Brush
Yeah.
Trail. Little trailer.
Yeah, little trailer, but that's coming soon. Then there is Saddlestone, and all three of those are all right next to each other. They're on Bourneside Road, just south of State Road 64 and just north of State Road 70, kind of tucked in that little area there. Here's what you should know about those areas too, is that they are fairly close to the racetrack. And I've heard that anybody who buys a home there needs to sign a waiver, making sure that they are very well aware that there is a racetrack. There's actually two racetracks on the premise. One is a speedway, right, where they drive around circles, and one is a drag strip where they drive fast. Now, we have lived close to it.
Yes.
You can hear that.
You can hear that.
You can hear it.
Very far away,
Yeah,
too.
very far away. You can hear it. Obviously,
It's at night,
race
it's
cars.
late.
Yeah.
Should be sleeping.
And then there is Palm Grove, which it's super intriguing for us because we used to live off of State Road 64, which, if you look at a map, is the furthest north that you can go in Lakewood Ranch. So the sheer fact that there is actually a new development that is happening north of State Road 64 is amazing, because I think, as far as I can tell, that might be the only neighborhood in Lakewood Ranch that will be north of State Road 64. And then there is another one. I can't remember the name of it. It looks like it's a little teeny one. I apologize. I can't remember the name of it. Like I said, it came up out of nowhere, but that's going to be on Bourneside. It is going to be just east of Del Webb, the original Del Webb, and I think just a little north of Concession. So you definitely want to know that for a lot of reasons. One, depends on where you are buying a home. If you are buying a home and there's some new construction, you probably want to know about that, because there's going to be
road construction.
There's going to be road noise. There could be some extra dust and some dirt. But it'll settle eventually.
When they're all done, it'll be gone. So in that area.
Yep. But you can reach out to us, find out about the new homes that are currently coming, or if you want a copy of the map and you are not in the area. Anything else we want to add to this list?
Going back to that with the road noise, they're done at a certain time every day. So after that, when, if you're working and you get home, it's probably done with. They're not doing it on the weekends.
Yep, not doing it on the weekends,
no. Anything else to add? No, just reach out if you have any questions about anything that we talked about. Of course, we'll let you know. Maybe answers.
So we're going to move on to something else, but hey, do me a favor too. Keep those comments coming. We'll address them either live, or if you are commenting or asking a question after the live stream, do me a favor too. Let us know what you think of the 12 o'clock hour. We went back and forth about, we were doing it at 5 o'clock. We found out the vast majority of our audience were actually on during the daytime, believe it or not. So we're going to test this out for noon for a couple of weeks. We'll see how that turns out. And if we find out that does not work, we're going to move on to another time. All right. So we always like to share some kind of interesting article that has some impact on our state. So I did find a really cool one, and I want to just briefly read it to you so you have an insight of what is happening in the state of Florida. Obviously, every state is different, but we know in Florida, the real estate market is shifting. So this came from the Tampa Bay Times. Florida housing market sees a new high with 172,000 homes currently listed for sale. Now, obviously, this is not specifically Lakewood Ranch, although we are seeing the same thing in Lakewood Ranch. But I wanted to bring it up just as kind of an overall topic. So it's the highest number of any month in records dating to 2012. And that number is up 22.7% from earlier years, which is not really a terrific sign if you are a home seller. Could be a great sign if you are a home buyer. And we're going to talk about that after this article. But let me kind of read this. So this came out on the 2nd, just a couple of days ago. So Florida recently saw the highest number of homes listed for sale in the past 13 years, with more than 172,000 homes available on the market. January ended with 172,209 homes for sale. It's the highest number of any month in records dating to 2012. That's according to Redfin, and that number is up 22.7% from a year earlier. So here's what Redfin said about that one. So condo owners are facing higher costs due to new safety regulations in Florida. Now I've done a bunch of videos on that one. Very briefly, if you remember a couple of years ago, there was a condo that collapsed on the East Coast that's changed the laws and the rules in Florida, and now condo associations need to do inspections, and they need to get those any potential issues fixed. It's a financial fiasco, mostly on the East Coast, but still affecting everywhere in the state of Florida. More homes are being built in Florida than in many other states. Of course, it's Florida, right? We've got great weather, great beaches. And you can just see just in Lakewood Ranch. I mean, there's very few communities that can tell you that they have 12 to 15 brand new neighborhoods currently under construction. And then this is a biggie. Homeowners are selling property because they can't keep up with the insurance costs. I know we talked about that very briefly. You might be able to afford your mortgage, and you might be able to afford your taxes, and you might be able to afford those HOA fees and CDD fees, but those insurance costs, we've heard those numbers go up 2, 3, 4 times the amount, and that could be crushing. Imagine, your insurance going from $3,000 a year to $15,000 a year. Could be devastating. So inventory is a measure of the number of homes for sale on the last day of the month. That's how Redfin calculates those. Now they want me to subscribe, of course. So with so many options for buyers to choose from, a lot of homes for sale are sitting on the market for months at a time, causing stale inventory to pile up. Listings are also piling up because home buyer demand has been cooling. Pending home sales in Florida fell 9.3% over the same time last year. So that's really all I want to just discuss specifically on that one, but we definitely want to talk about it. So what's your thoughts on that inventory stacking up?
Well, as a dedicated buyer specialist, it's a great option for buyers right now. So, if you're in the market to purchase a home, before inventory was so low where you had to basically sell a kidney to buy a house, right? Over asking price, waiving inspections, waiving appraisals. But now that's not the case. This is not a COVID market anymore.
It is not.
So buyers, interest rates are going down just a tad bit. So, is it a good time to buy? Well, if there's a need to buy, it's a great time to buy. Now, sellers, speaking of which, Adam is our dedicated listing specialist. You've really got to price the home competitively if you want to sell it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we've got some homes that are priced well, priced at or below market value, and buyers have lots of options because inventory is stacked up. So what that means is that buyers get to go through multiple houses and make the decision. So we're almost at a balanced market now. We're definitely going to start to see that those prices are going to come down because when there's more competition, what does that mean? That means that buyers have options and buyers can offer less than asking price. I think overall, when the stats came out, we were like 94% of the asking price, meaning that, if you listed a house for $100,000, it's selling for $94,000.
Yeah, so it's gone down a little bit.
It's gone down
last month between like January, December.
Yep.
So yeah, I would say if you want to buy a house, it's a good time to buy.
Yeah, and speaking of buying a house, and the reason that we kind of brought that article up and then transitions to the next thing that we want to discuss is that because there is so much inventory building up, that also includes new construction, and builders are still building and they're eating up those costs. So what they're doing is they are offering phenomenal incentives. So I want to share this screen with you really quick because this is something you have access to. This is on lakewoodranch.com, their official website. And this is not necessarily all of the builder incentives, but the builders here are offering just amazing incentives on homes. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but I do want to scroll just so you can kind of see some of these that are offered. AR Homes, Arthur Ruttenberg, up to 4% on select home sites, 6% on select home sites. D.R. Horton is offering all closing costs paid. David Weekley, which is Emerald Landing, receive up to $60,000 in home discounts. Look at all these. And again, this is not even necessarily all of them. This is just the ones that they have advertised on the site. But I did want to show you this one. We've done a few videos in Windward. I really like Windward.
Yeah.
Windward is
I've got a buyer in there right now.
Yeah, we've got a buyer in there now. Windward is by Neal Communities, and it is currently the southernmost community in Lakewood Ranch. It literally is on Lorraine Road, which goes north, south through just about the center of Lakewood Ranch, maybe the eastern part of Lakewood Ranch. And Fruitville Road, which if you know anything about this area, Fruitville Road takes you down to downtown Sarasota. It's also the gateways to Lido Key, Siesta Key, that whole area. But a great community. But they're offering $75,000 off your dream home, asterisk, or a 2-to-1 buy down rate promo. You want to talk about the promo?
Yes. So right now, so it's a 2-1 buy down. So it's common, or you can use a combination. So talk to the sales agent there. The first year on this, y'all, is 4.25% on your mortgage. And then from years 2 to 30, it's only 5.25. Now you can't beat that. It's using their lender, of course. And if you qualify, you've got to get pre-approved and all that good stuff, but you cannot beat that deal. Like I would be on that quick.
Yeah. Fantastic. And interest rates right at the moment are about just shy of 7, like 6.8%, something like that.
Yeah. Their homes in there are super cute too. They have a whole series of them. My buyer's looking at a specific one too. So it's gorgeous. And that rate is phenomenal.
Yeah. Really, really great community. Probably one of the most conveniently located ones, because at that location, and again, if you want the map, I should have brought the map up so you can see where it is. Obviously, you can be in downtown Sarasota, half hour, depending on what time of day you go, what time of year you go, but you could be at Waterside Place probably in 5 to 10 minutes. You could be at Main Street, Lakewood Ranch, probably in like 10, maybe 15 minutes. You can just kind of be everywhere from that location.
I'm actually not cutting through, but since we live on, off Lorraine, go through Lorraine to Fruitville because I'm beating all that 75 traffic.
Yeah.
Like I don't like highways. I don't like to drive as my chauffeur, but when I have to drive, I like to take the back roads. So
fantastic. Hey, speaking of home builders, home builder incentives, all this new construction, one of the things that we want to talk about was one of the common misconceptions that we hear. I don't never understand it. I don't know where it came from, of buyers going directly to the home builder without using a real estate agent. So I think a lot of people don't know that they should have somebody who represents their best interest, because when you go into any new construction model, there's sales associates there. They're super nice. They're extremely friendly, very knowledgeable. We're friends with a lot of them. However, they work for and represent the seller, which in this case happens to be the builder.
Yeah.
And at the time of this recording, right, the home builders are still paying buyer agent compensation. So you as a buyer, it's not going to cost you any extra to hire somebody like Jessica. So I want to talk to you about how that process works, what they need to do to register you, and why it's kind of a misconception.
Yeah. So I've worked with a lot of buyers who are looking for a new construction and help them get through the process. And I love the sales agents. Like he said, we're friends with them, and, come to me, and all of my buyers, we talk about, if you're thinking about new construction, definitely we want to get you registered at the Lakewood Ranch Visitor Center, because that covers all of Lakewood Ranch.
Where's that?
At Main Street on Lakewood Ranch, right off of Lakewood Ranch Boulevard. And also specifically with a specific builder as well. Of course, we're going to have the whole buyer consultation with you. We're going to talk about the buyer representation agreement, all that stuff. And that we have to have that in hand with all of our buyers. And new construction builders want that as well. But when I work with you as your dedicated buyer specialist with new construction, like Adam said, they represent the builder. So, throughout the build process, we're going to be boots on the ground. You might be out of town. We're going to be going over there, checking on the property when we're allowed to, because sometimes it's not available because it's under construction. So we go on days that we can have our hard hat on. Inspections. When you purchase a new home, you're going to have the builder inspection. Now, I call that blue tape day, where you're going to put blue tape on anything that you can see, which is cosmetic, right? They're not going to check the foundation. They're not going to go in and do a sewer scope. So I always recommend your own separate home inspection, just like the regular home inspection. And I would also recommend doing the pipe inspection, the sewer scope, because what happens when you build a home? It settles, right? Yep. So they put all that underground infrastructure in there way before they even built the home. So a year goes by, the home is definitely settled, especially with the cold and hot temperatures here in Florida. I have seen where the pipes have busted. You don't know where. They might have just been a little pinhole break, right? 2 months later, why is my whole entire house flooded? Well, didn't get an inspection on these sewer scopes. Now, does it happen all the time? No. Does you spend a little bit of money doing that inspection? Yes, but it could save you in the long run. So anyway, we're here to help you do the things that the builder is not suggesting for you. And if they're paying us, we're just guiding you along. You don't have to pay us at all. And we'll take you through the whole, the build and beyond. Because do you think that we love the agents, but they're probably so busy that they're not following up with you after the sale,
Not
and
as often as we would or should be.
so, I'm so glad they're busy, but we're going to be here from beginning to the end and beyond. So.
And I'll be sure to put Jessica's contact information down below if you have questions about new construction or buying a place. Lakewood Ranch, Sarasota. We're obviously here for you. Hey, do me a favor too, before we get out of here, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos about moving to Lakewood Ranch, what it's like living here, retiring here. And plus we do this live stream every Thursday at noon. That might change, but currently it's at noon. And definitely drop a comment down below. We want to be able to answer your questions. We want to hear from you. We definitely want to know where you are watching from. Anything you want to say before we skip on out and let everyone go back to lunch?
Yeah, speaking of lunch, what's
for
everyone
lunch?
having for lunch? I'm hungry.
Got to eat before those live streams.
Yes.
All right, that's all we got, everybody. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will see you next time.
All right, bye.